Just sit down. Okay, tonight I'm going to talk to you about alcohol abuse. It's a subject that's very dear to my heart as I grew up in an alcoholic home. And it's something I want you guys to understand the signs and symptoms and how it can wreck a family. Alcohol abuse is a leading cause of family disruption. It's a disease that can be beaten with the right amount of support and discipline. Alcoholism is a disease that can and will shatter lives of both those afflicted with the disease and those around them, family members, friends. 14 million people in America are affected with alcoholism, which makes it the third most common mental disorder. The treatment is available, and it can be beaten if you have the willpower to go through the treatment. The definition of alcoholism is a chronic progressive disease where you have problems with control, preoccupation with alcohol, continued use even after problems have been caused, physical dependence, or withdrawal when the intake is rapidly reduced. The MayoClinic.com says that if you have alcoholism, you cannot predict how much you will drink, how long you will drink, or what the consequences will be when they occur. Alcohol can cause actual physical health problems. It can cause cirrhosis of the liver, which is where your liver turns to stone. Basically, it hardens and you'll die. It has been tied to, according to About.com, it's been tied to liver cancer. And if left untreated, alcoholism will kill you. There is no single cause. It's more of a learned disorder. MedicineNet.com had this to say: as with most mental disorders, alcohol dependence has no one single cause, and it is not passed genetically from generation to generation, which is something that I learned because I had grown up thinking that it was passed genetically, that if somebody in your family had it, then you had it, and you had to make sure you fought it. But that's not the case. Now, some of my own personal experiences with alcohol: my father was an alcoholic, and it really wrecked our entire family structure because my dad was drunk all the time. My mother was always cowed down, and my father wasn't an abusive drunk. He was more of a talker. He could talk you down in no time. My sister and me both grew up automatically defensive. Just not in a good way, because we were just scared to be around the dad, scared to be around him, had to tread on eggshells because any little thing could set him off. My dad had no friends. Friends that he did get, he lost very quickly because of his drinking. He damn near lost his family because of his drinking. It really wrecked everything that he had going for him. But somebody who suffered from alcohol dependence won't realize that they even have a problem until they hit what's called the rock bottom, when they're as low as they can get, and there's nothing else in this life that can get them lower than they are. To get to that point, though, once you get there and you realize you have a problem, there are treatments. On LearnAboutAlcoholism.com, they talk about motivational enhancement, which is where someone will make you aware of the impact of what you're doing, of the drinking itself. It makes you accept responsibility. It's more of a medical thing, so they have treatment options. They'll help you actually develop a plan for like rehab and alcohol dependency treatments. The next step would be cognitive behavior therapy, which is where a therapist will sit down and make you realize the situations that cause you to drink. So when you recognize a situation, you can change your behavior and not drink. It gives you more the ability to choose instead of just, I need it and I'm going to have it and that's all there is to it. The last step, and the one that really worked for my dad, is called a 12-step program. There are many 12-step programs, but the one that is obviously hands down the best is Alcoholics Anonymous. Alcoholics Anonymous is a 12-step program for people only with drinking problems. There are other 12-step programs for narcotics or other problems that you have that you're addicted to, but AA is strictly for alcoholism. It started as an offshoot of what was called the Oxford Group, which was a spiritual group, not really related to a church, just a spiritual group. And it's just people helping people. There's no professionals involved. There's no therapists there. It's just alcoholics helping alcoholics not be alcoholics anymore. There's an actual list of the 12 steps. And this is what you have to do when you have a problem with alcohol. These are the steps. You need to admit that you are powerless over alcohol. Alcohol has made your lives unmanageable. You come to believe that there's a power greater than yourself that will restore you to sanity. You make a decision to turn your will and your lives to the care of God as you understand Him. Not as anybody else brings Him to you, but as you see God. You make a searching and fearless moral inventory of yourself, meaning you go through everything you've ever done to everybody you've ever done and take stock of your entire life. You admit to God, to yourselves, or other human beings the exact nature of your wrongs, of everything that you've done wrong. And that you're ready, entirely ready, to have God remove all these defects of character. And you humbly ask Him to remove your shortcomings. So there's a lot of prayer, a lot of introversion, a lot of self-searching. And then you make a list. This is the big one. You make a list of everybody you've harmed, and you go apologize to them, face to face. You make direct amends for whenever possible. And you continue to take personal inventory, and when you're wrong, you properly admit it. This is not an ending thing. This never ends. There's always going to be another step to take. And then you sought through prayer and meditation to improve your conscious contact with God as you understand Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Basically, you're going to talk to the God that you see, and you're going to ask Him you're going to search yourself as to how to best serve your life. And that having had a spiritual awakening, we try to carry this message to other alcoholics to practice these principles in all affairs. So the last step is then a calling for the alcoholic to become a helper to another alcoholic. The tenets of the 12-step program are actually simple. It's four very absolute things: honesty, purity, unselfishness, and love. If you don't have those four things, you cannot give up the alcohol. It will take a hold of your life. The problem with alcoholism is that it can totally be beaten. And you have to know the signs that affect you that can lead to alcoholism. Because there's a difference between alcohol drinking, alcohol abuse. If you have a drinking problem, you might feel guilty or ashamed of your drinking. You might lie to people or hide it. You have friends or family members who are worried and bring it up to you. You need to drink in order to relax. You black out, or you regularly drink more than you intend to. Now, it becomes a problem when it becomes abuse, which is things like repeatedly neglecting your responsibilities at home, or work, or school because of your drinking. Using alcohol in situations where it's physically dangerous, drinking while you're driving, or experiencing repeated legal problems on account of your drinking. The big thing to remember is noticing and admitting that there is a problem and then treating it, because this is the thing that doesn't have to happen. It never has to happen, and no other family needs to go through what so many families go through every day. And thank you, and that was my speech on alcoholism.